You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. Last week, black women were on Capitol Hill. Civil disobedience when it comes to voting rights. Congresswoman Joyce Beatty was among those who were arrested. Today, it was the brothers, Congressman Hank Johnson, Cliff Albright, co-founder of Black Voters Matter, and others were out there today. There were 10 men who were arrested as they protested outside of the Senate Hart Office Building. Roland Martin Unfiltered, we were there with our cameras, live streaming the entire event. If you go to our YouTube channel, you can actually see what took place with the event, folks. Now, Capitol Police took them into custody after being warned that they were demonstrating without a permit and blocking the entrance to the building. The demonstration began in front of the U.S. Supreme Court, where Johnson, Albright, and the Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee and others demanded Congress and reform for the filibuster reform. Okay, guys, if I could hear the audio, it'd be great. Of course, they want them to pass. Thank you. They want them to pass the For the People Act and the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. The goal is to have consistent pressure being applied, to Congress for Democrats to actually move. Joining us right now is Cliff Albright, co-founder of Black Voters Matter. Also, Mawuli Mel Davis, founding partner, Davis Bozeman Law Firm, and Dr. Wes Bellamy, chair of Advocacy for the 100 Black Men of America. Glad to have all three of you here. Cliff, y'all have talked about sustained action, which what is needed. There were black women last week, and you're mobilizing the black men this week.
That's right. Thanks for having me, Roland. Thanks for having us on. I'm so glad to be here with these brothers that were out there with us today. And so thankful for you and your team for covering the entire action from start to finish. Yeah, it's going to take sustained action. You know, we shouldn't be in this position. We shouldn't be in a position where we've got to go out, hitting the streets, being arrested. You know, we're thankful for the sisters last week, who I call my leader, Melanie Campbell, National Coalition on Black Civic Participation, CBC Chair, Representative Beatty, who led the way last week, Thursday, getting arrested. And so we were following their footsteps and really brothers coming out today to support sisters. And brothers wanted to make it clear that brothers got something to say, too. You know, and so it's going to take this level of action, unfortunately, especially after listening to the president's remarks last night on the filibuster. I'm sure you'll get to that later. But, it's going to take direct action. You know, what we expect to see, what we're hoping that we see is that we see this level of action every day. There should not be a day that goes by without somebody doing, some type of nonviolent civil disobedience, because that's what it's going to take in order to get the members of the Senate and the president in the White House to understand that we are serious when we say that we are not going back to Jim Crow 2.0. We're not going to sit by silently and watch them erode our voting rights. We certainly are not going to just treat this like we can just out-organize the voter suppression in 2021, 2022, and moving forward. We're going to be ungovernable until they pass the voting rights that we demand and pass it now.
Wes, on that particular point, it is trying to get people to understand this also is not a black thing. Earlier, I tweeted this earlier today, and I said, white progressives, a lot of y'all were out there in the streets after George Floyd. Where y'all at? I said, Latinos, you are being impacted by these voting laws. I said, white college students, they're moving early voting locations off of college campuses. Asian Americans, y'all were all upset over hate crimes. Congress moved to pass a bill that dealt with hate crimes. Why are you silent on voting? I said, why are black people having to carry the banner again? And this is about challenging Latino, Victory Fund, challenging La Raza and LULAC, challenging these progressive groups, challenging Asian Americans as well. I mean, bottom line is this is all hands on deck. The laws being passed are impacting because in Texas, they're pissed off that in the suburbs, Democrats have been doing so well, so they're targeting educated white voters. And so we need to have these folks on Capitol Hill as well. And they don't need us to actually plan it. They can do it themselves.
Well, Roland, Thank you so much for having us, and shout out to our leader, my dear brother, Cliff Albright. I think you're absolutely right. This is not just a quote-unquote black issue. Although, as you also alluded to, whenever we're trying to create change in this nation, and oftentimes when it does come forth, it's led by black people. I'm personally not concerned with what other individuals are going to do. I know what we have to do for our people, and that is, one, hold the Biden administration accountable. Joe Biden made a promise to black folk and black America, and he said it very clearly. He would not be in this position without the support of black people. Well, he's written a check that he has to come in cash, and we are going to ensure that we get our money's worth. He needs to come out in support of the filibuster, and we will, as Brother Albright said, not be governable until that happens. We are calling on Vice President Harris to come in and stand up and speak up in regards to the filibuster. We're acting and calling on members of Congress to act and do their jobs, and we're not going anywhere. This will be sustained pressure, as Brother Albright said, in support of the sisters, in support of the brothers, and we will be here.
Mauli, about 3 minutes ago, Congressman Al Green of Texas tweeted this letter out. He was out there today as well. This is the second letter that the Democratic Texas delegation has sent to President Joe Biden, asking him to meet with the Texas Democratic state legislators. Again, this is the text of the letter. On July 16, 2021, we sent you a letter requesting a meeting between you and the Texas Democratic state legislators. We know that you have an impossible schedule and that everything on your agenda is of paramount importance. However, we believe that the issue of free and fair elections in Texas merit our attention and ask that you have a brief virtual meeting with the Texas Democratic state legislators. Thank you in advance for all consideration that you will give this critical issue. And it was actually signed by Congressman Green, in addition to Democrats Lloyd Doggett, Henry Cuellar, Vicente Gonzalez, Sheila Jackson Lee. When the black women met with the white, so last week, after the sisters were at their protest, they got a call to come meet at the White House with Vice President Kamala Harris. President Joe Biden stopped by. To me, President Biden should be meeting with these Texas Democratic House members as well. Mauli? Keep talking.
Absolutely. We believe in the position that we've taken in support of the legislators in Texas is that Joe Biden should lean in immediately, meet with these legislators who are trying their best to fight what we've experienced in Georgia, this anti-voting, fundamentally anti-black legislation that prevent us from being full citizens in this yet-to-be United States. And so that work is ongoing. I just applaud the work of the men that came together today and have been coming together across the country. Obviously, my brother Cliff Albright has been critical, and for us, those of us who come out of a Pan-African black nationalist position, follow his leadership around voting and voting rights and our voting advocacy. And so I was just grateful, and I would go to jail again if need be, because this is such a critical issue and so important. And it's now time that President Biden pay attention, lean in a way that those of us who went out, hit the pavement, and got out the vote in Georgia in particular to give the Democratic Party this win, that he now responds in a way that is reciprocal, and that this is not a here we go again moment for the Democratic Party and for this establishment. So again, I'm grateful and I appreciate you for opening up the airwaves for us to have this conversation.
Folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment.
It's time to be smart. When we control our institutions, we win. This is the most important news show on television of any racial background. Y'all put $2, $3, $4, $5, $10, $15, $20, $30 on this and keep this going. What you've done, Roland, since this crisis came out in full bloom. Anybody watching this, tell your friends. Go back and look at the last 2 weeks, especially of Roland Martin Unfiltered. I mean, hell, go back and look at the last 2 days. You've had sitting United States senators today, Klobuchar and Harris. Whatever you have, you can bring to Roland Martin Unfiltered to support it. Please do, because this information may literally save your life.
Watch Roland Martin Unfiltered daily at 6 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Facebook, or Periscope, or go to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered Daily Digital Show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com.